I think historically there has been somewhat of a disconnect where there are skill sets, both hard and soft skills, that industry wants that are being delivered through the education process. But what we can do is we can alter the method of delivering that in such a way that it becomes an experience that they're immersed in.
I think it's our job to pair that style of learning with real world experiences. So how do they pair that together? Curiosity is a big one for me. Are they asking a lot of questions? What's the volume of questions? What's the quality of questions?
I wanted to ask you, so from your perspective, how have you seen the market shift over the past several years? John and I, along with the entire team of Multifamily Forward, have been very fortunate to have some of the top leaders in their respective industries, right? Their respective verticals. Everything from development, acquisitions, capital markets, operations, prop tech, everything, right? We've never been blessed with education. And who better than Mark Stapp, the Executive Director of Masters in Real Estate Development and Director of the Experiential Learning Lab at ASU. Go Devils.
Go Devils.
Go Devils.
Go Devils. Mark, it's great to have you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here with the both of you and to be asked to do this. So I appreciate it very much.
Well, we had some fun. We're going to get into it because you invited us to ASU, John and I, along with several other executives here at Mark Taylor. And you mentioned off camera early that I had a little bit of fun.
You had a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
If we could post the video of you in the experience.
Yeah.
The
Laughing,
dreamscapes. Screaming,
crying.
Laughing. Right. The entire thing. You
There
were
was-
the entire range of emotions almost.
I was
Roller
animated.
coaster.
I was animated, to say the least. Mark, before we dive into some of these questions, do you mind just giving us a little history? I mean, you don't have just 2 titles. We just learned you actually have 3 titles. But you've been at ASU just shaping the minds of our future leaders.
Which, for anybody who knew me when I was younger, is a scary thought. But yes.
All of us.
Yes, exactly. So the third one is Freddie Taylor, Endowed Professor of Real Estate at W.P. Carey School of Business. And I have been at ASU, now I'm working on my 16th year. And I will tell you, it wasn't because I'm an educator and it wasn't because I set out to do this. It's because I had helped create the Masters of Real Estate Development program as an outside board advisor and donor. And then had the opportunity in 2009 to step in and try and restructure it a little bit, and then fell in love. And it really became something that was much more to me than something to do. I really honestly think it was the most rewarding, it is the most rewarding thing I've done professionally and one of the most rewarding things I've done personally. So I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate to be at a university that is focused on increasing the quality of education and the quality of the communities that we interface with. And it goes way beyond just educating people. It really does. We were talking off camera and before about the reputation of ASU and how it's changed so much. And just came out, I think it was today or yesterday, 11th year in a row, most innovative university in the country.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why it's such an exciting place to be, is we have the opportunity to do things that in many universities are much more difficult to do.
I mentioned to you previously as well that after we did that tour with you, I went back home and I told my son, I was like, I know I wanted you to have choices, but you don't have any more choices. You're going to ASU moving forward. So we really appreciate it. I wanted to ask you, so from your perspective, how have you seen the market shift over the past several years?
You know, I don't think there's a singular thing. And I differentiate between real estate as a physical space, real estate as a business, and then the marketplace itself. And obviously, the pandemic had profound effects on us, some of which persists, some of which was already in the works but accelerated. And we see those changes continuing. I mean, you guys see this all the time, right? It's real estate provides a service to society, and that the society's needs and wants evolve as things happen. Nothing more evident than a pandemic when all of a sudden we had a different want and need for our life. And you had to adjust and you saw changes. The office market certainly saw those, and it's changing. Retail saw this coming out of the great financial crisis, but those were changes that were already in the works as a result of computing and being able to go online. And I think a couple of things that have happened is the market is not as monolithic as it used to be on a national basis. I think it's considerably more regional, considerably more fractured, in which makes it much more complicated to make categorical statements about the market. Mm-hmm. It's really much, and I don't know how you guys see it because you're in a variety of markets.
Well, I'd just say from a multifamily perspective, I think if you look at the last 25 years I've been in this business, I feel like the acceleration of change in the last 5 post-pandemic, triggered by COVID, has really restructured and I think created a different mindset. And if you're not open to it, you're in trouble. Meaning, so much technology, so much capital chasing this space, both in prop tech and then just multifamily in general, ownership groups, equity groups. As we know, Carlyle just announced a $9 billion fund with a B to chase real estate and specifically multifamily. So a lot of things have really shifted. And I think also we know more than ever, right, in terms of data. It's oftentimes interpreted differently by many folks, but you have more information than ever. So perhaps I could finish with just there's so much noise in the market. You really have to focus in on the signal and understanding, okay, what's really true? What's, trust your data. We trust our data in terms of where the market is, expansionary, contractionary. So all of those things are factors in terms of how we look at the multifamily space.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to also ask, you are an expert, not just here locally, but across the country. What do you feel, as far as your opinion, what has been the unique factors or unique dynamics of Phoenix that has made it into the growth market that it is today and continues into the next several years? Is there anything that you can pinpoint just from your viewpoint?
ASU.
Nice. That's a great answer.
How's that for a
That's a plug. That's a good plug.
And I say that with a little bit of tongue in cheek, but I say it also with a bit of sincerity, because it has been such an economic driver. But by itself, it wasn't enough, right? So I think coming out of the great financial crisis, there was a realization that this marketplace had to mature. Mm-hmm. And it had to change what it was going to be in terms of an economic place. And I think there was the political will and support to create those changes, right? So GPEC was one of those. Yes. Commerce Authority.
Instrumental.
Yes, huge impact on who we are as a place. And that is just now beginning, I think, to pay dividends. But what I say to people is that Metropolitan Phoenix was a gangly adolescent metropolitan area. It was not a mature metropolitan area that had a long history to it as a really significant regional economic place. And so part of these changes, I think, are the result of maturation that are occurring simultaneously, right? So you got to a point in our maturation where we had to make changes if we wanted to grow up to be the thing we thought we should be. And those changes were made. Mm-hmm. For the very first time, we have an opportunity to create an agglomeration, which is not something we've had the opportunity to create in this marketplace. And that's the result of a number of factors that brought TSMC here. Mm-hmm. And because of who TSMC is and how it works, it's been much more than Intel and or Motorola that preceded or any of the other fab facilities. They're bringing an entire ecosystem with them. And that ecosystem is driving a segment of the economy that is so important to everything else we're doing as a global society and certainly as a country. And so I think that bodes really well for us. The question is, how do we continue to mature? What are we going to look like? Because we're not going to continue to look like we do.
Good point.
Yeah, and I'd say, the backstory, as you described it well, TSMC would not be here if that didn't start post-GFC, right? We really had to structurally make changes. And I would argue, thinking about downtown Phoenix, which is, I'll say, was difficult to describe years ago because people didn't downtown's not like
didn't
your
have an
engine.
identity. Yeah.
And I would credit ASU mostly with the revitalization of downtown Phoenix in terms of live, play, energy, people willing to actually go down there. And I think about even 10 years ago, would you go down there for dinner? Just choosing that selection, like I'm going to go to Phoenix downtown for dinner. Maybe if you're going to a show or a ball game. Other than that, there wasn't a lot of life, right? So, it wasn't just ASU, but that was a big propellant to get downtown started.
So I would add that there were besides ASU downtown, right, which was, I think, a really, really important element. But there was another political decision that was made, and that was the decision to back light rail because it formed an infrastructure element around which people could make investments around the kind of development we needed, which was densification and supporting a urban character that required something like that in order to give it some focus. And so those two things coupled with a change in lifestyle that was occurring simultaneously that drove a desire to be in those. So you get the millennials coming out of their college days. They didn't want to go live in East Mesa or in Peoria. There's no way in God's green earth they want to live there.
Lifestyle choices.
Right, lifestyle choices. So there was this, I think, combination of things occurring around two political decisions, downtown ASU campus, the light rail, lifestyle changes that begin to create the nucleus of what we see today. And it continues to do extremely well. I mean, it's a market with some great restaurants. You go downtown now, and it's interesting. That gives character to the entire region. I think it's important.
Sure, and complete access for students in Tempe that traditionally might not think about going to downtown campus.
Yes, right.
But just jump on the light rail.
And it's fun down there now too, right? Mark, I have a two-parter for you. And then I want to ask you this similar question regarding this. So in regards to higher learning within universities, do you see a gap between what is taught to what the industry demands? And then when it comes to ASU and your teachings for your students, what do you emphasize? What do you have them focus on to make sure that when they graduate, they get their degree, they are ready to go and just hit the ground running?
So again, it's hard to make a categorical statement that I see a gap in it is for all educational programs. I think historically there has been somewhat of a disconnect especially for certain industries where there are skill sets, both hard and soft skills that industry wants that are being delivered through the education process. No doubt about it. I think that there has been a disconnect in many ways between faculty and the industry itself. There hasn't always been a very close connection. And because of that, it's harder for faculty to then organize and deliver curriculum that produces those hard and soft skills. So that's important to us, right? People are spending more money for an education today, and the question is why? Well, it's because they're trying to launch their life or they're trying to change their life. And we need to be able to produce an outcome that allows them to achieve that. And that's really important. So I do think that sometimes there is a gap. We are focused on trying to close that gap, in particular with real estate, by not teaching. It's not what we teach that's going to matter. It's how we teach it. The subject matters, the subject matters, the subject matter. Yeah. We don't own it. It's nothing unique to our university. There's no proprietary information. But what we can do is we can alter the method of delivering that in such a way that it becomes an experience that they're immersed in, and it increases the efficacy of the learning, right? They leave feeling as though they've already been a participant in the business itself. That's the one thing we talked about. One of my titles is the director of the Real Estate Experiential Learning Lab. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Preparedness and confidence for that student as they enter the workforce.
And competency. And it's not just hard skills, right? I can't teach somebody simply to be really, really good at Excel and create a performance if they have no idea, one, what the drivers are to those input assumptions, or two, how to make decisions based on what they read, and then three, how to communicate those really clearly.
I want to use an example that you shared with us when we had the privilege of having the tour at the campus. But I want to ask John here, do you see a difference, anything that you can pinpoint as far as what we're seeing with our future leaders coming into the real estate industry? Is there a difference as far as, because we're always looking for talent, right? Mm-hmm. Talent, very important. They need to grind. They want, enjoy what they're doing, of course. Do you see any type of?
Yeah, as we think about our internship program, young guys coming out of school, I feel like today, those are groups of individuals or demographically that have grown up in the digital native environment. They're used to screens, they're used to data.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're incredibly comfortable with asking questions, right? They just want to know and they want to have information. So I would say today that they're as prepared as ever from that aspect. And I think it's our job to pair that style of learning with real world experiences. So how do they pair that together and give them, Mark Taylor meaning, give them actual experience, like here's what happens in the real world, because we know in real estate, things happen all the time that you can't control, as we're very aware.
You can't predict it. You can't control.
We can prepare. We can do all of those things. I think I'm most excited about getting them from that point in time into, okay, looking back, if you're here 5 years, wow, okay, all of these challenges had occurred, right? Running a business in 2019, if you told me we had to run a business with our doors locked there's no classroom for that. There's no real world experience for that, but you got to deliver, you got to execute. So yeah, it's just it's a new demographic. It's digital, it's data, all of those things. I think how we fuse those together will matter in terms of success going forward.
Perfect. Go ahead, Mark, please.
Let me ask you something, John. The program you have, right? So this is a way to onboard talent, right? You get to test them, you get to onboard them. What do you look for in that talent? What do you hope they are coming to you with? Because the answer to that question is important to us, because our job, I say that we're the farm team to the industry. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to pick the phone up in the dugout and say, I need a third baseman, I need whatever it is. And there's a lot of different positions and there's different skills with them. How do you see that relationship and that connection with the university?
I think what I rely upon as a leader, I think, okay, if they graduate from your program, I'm confident they know how to underwrite deals, they know numbers, they understand the fundamentals, the things that you mentioned earlier, right? Stuff that isn't proprietary, but you have to know that. That's like a foundational aspect. Then I'm looking for soft skills. I'm looking for grit. I'm looking for curiosity. Curiosity is a big one for me.
I was just going to say, be curious.
And that's a Scott Taylorism. Like, are they asking a lot of questions? What's the volume of questions? What's the quality of questions? And usually you can tell in the first 3 to 5 questions, like, what are they asking about? And, if someone comes in, first 2 questions, like, hey, I understand rents are here and we have supply pressure here. What was it like in the 90s and 2000s during a similar cycle? Or, hey, in my reading, I look back and I saw that these things happened. If you change these inputs, do you get the results you're looking? Just, elevated questions where there's real thought behind what they're thinking about in terms of questions and what they're thinking about tomorrow. And just attitude. That's a big piece of it.
That might help.
How do they function in a team environment? Are they a look at me guy? Like, I have to be the guy. All of those things matter to me. I'm looking for those, those subtle environmental questions and what they're thinking about.
Perfect. It's perfect. Great question, by the way.
Yeah, but so I'm going to go back to something you said, and this is important to me. You said that you want them to ask those really good questions. Well, in order to ask the good questions, they have to know how to go investigate. They have to be curious.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
being curious means you've got to go just look for the most information you can about whatever it is you're doing, and getting that person who's going to go dig beyond the surface.
Yes, just hunters, curiosity, grit. I mean, if I said, hey, here's 10, we have so much data internally, right? So I say, hey, here's the drive. Just go check out our macro data, our historical data, financial information, all of those things. Just take a look at it. Here's a couple properties. And man, if they dig into that, and I know if they actually worked in those workbooks based on the questions they ask, or if they didn't. Those are telltale signs, right?
It's easy to get lost in that in the data set. Yeah.
That guy's hungry, right?
Yeah.
He wants this. He wants to figure this out. And I feel like we can be that driver from a support perspective. If they have Mark Taylor on their resume,
That's golden.
I think historically all of the people before me, Jeff and Scott, you now have that on your resume. So it tells me that if you're here and you're plugged in, you're curious, you're leaning in, you're going to make something of yourself, and you're going to help us grow our organization. And I'll be proud to stamp you when you take a promotion or take another CEO job or somewhere, whatever that is. And it excites me when that hunger is obvious.
That's great.
And it's usually very obvious, right? You kind of know when they flash. You can see it in the classroom.
Yes.
I wanted to take you back talking about just if there was a gap and how ASU differentiates itself among other universities. You used an example when we came to visit you where you mentioned just previously you can teach 800 to 1,000 college students how to move around and work through an Excel workbook, create a pro forma, right? Full budget. But your challenge has always been, how do you take those same 800 to 1,000 students and put them up on a rooftop on a 6-story building to show them the inner workings of how a due diligence inspection is done? Can you share a little bit of what we experienced when you brought us there?
Yeah. So thank you for the softball.
You're welcome.
So back to what I was saying before, it's not what we teach, it's how we teach. And we have had, I think everybody does. I think all of the programs in the country teach essentially the exact same way. And the most experience you get is through a capstone, or you maybe have an internship. But it's hard to scale some of these things, and it's hard to not only scale them, but scale them in a way that they're real. And so this is about immersive learning that causes you to have to think. And so the analogy that I used is we teach in the abstract. So I can teach you the pro forma, but how do I teach you to analyze an existing physical asset without ever taking you there? Mm-hmm. Well, all I can do is give you a checklist, show you a picture, talk about it. But you don't know it unless you can see it and experience it. The value of technology that we have available to us today, and I think what you're alluding to, was immersive digital technology that allows us to put people in a place. And the reason you were having so much fun is because you were in your mind, a place that you could feel and sense, and it caused you to act differently. If I was just showing you a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in this business, it's very hard to teach it like that in reality, unless I have a methodology and a tool. And our objective is to build those tools that put the student in the story. Mm-hmm. They become more than simply a passive participant in a Socratic process. They become a participant in a story where they have to engage and they have to achieve things, and they do it in such a way that they're immersed in it. And if you build it the right way where it becomes an exploration, and I use the analogy, this is like being in a first-person shooter game. I've got to be able to get in there. I've got to be able to feel it, look for it, investigate it. You were mentioning some of the skills before, John. In order to be curious, you got to go. You got to be like a detective. You got to be an investigator. So I want you to learn how to investigate the physical space. The same with the market and market dynamics and in business decision making in really uncertain, evolving, and sometimes rapidly changing environments. How do you teach someone to really act in that way? And so building tools that will immerse them into a marketplace in such a way that they're forced to have to make business decisions that we can then look at and go, he understands the subject. He understands how to apply it. He understands the ramifications, and look at the decision making. Those tools do not exist for real estate right now. Our intention is to build them and to use them to increase the quality of our educational outcomes, not just for our graduate students, for all of our students.
Sure. It was unbelievable. I had an absolute blast. Thank you. John, I admire when we talk with our newest employees, newest teammates every single Monday in Welcome Home Orientation. You share your personal mission statement, and it's always about just the passion, the drive, the willingness and the want to be an ever learner, and you want our fellow teammates to love Mark Taylor as much as you do, right? You say this a lot, and I love that. It's that passion is just it's contagious. Let's just say it that way. Mark, you've been doing this for a long time. Not saying you're old, because you're not. You just run circles around me.
I'm old, buddy.
Don't even say it. Don't even say it. Where's the drive for you? What does you teaching young individuals, young future leaders, what's the drive for you?
It's just that.
It's just that. Simple?
Well, so every year I get to meet new people who have a desire, right? So why do you go to school? Why do you go to a graduate program? Why is that important to you? And it's important to you as a person. It's important to your life. And to be in a position where I get to meet this wide range of people who have a wide range of objectives with their life, and then to help them be successful is the most rewarding personal, professional thing, other than having my own kids, that I've ever done. And I didn't have to do this, and I didn't set out to do it permanently. But when I started doing it, it became so important to me as a person, as a professional, to be able to do this. And it does keep you young, right? Nothing makes you more honest than being a parent and teaching, because you have to be, you're relied upon, you are looked up to, and you have to deliver what people are expecting. I tell people, I manage expectations. I manage my expectations of you and your expectations of me. And every day, when you've got all of the people coming through the program, that's important. And so I can't think of a better way to spend my time than doing just those.
I'm confident it also maybe doesn't elevate or change, but it helps hold the standard that we set for ourselves.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, no question. If we were on the beach 7 days a week, that's different. Like, you can kind of just go do your own thing. It's a bit maybe selfish. I think the selfless act of continue to always give back. And then for me, and I think what you're saying relates to how I feel in terms of getting energy, right? What charges you, what depletes you. I get charged by someone that buys into Mark Taylor's culture, the organization and its people, and real estate. And then I see them, whatever level of career they are, it doesn't matter to me if they're 70 or 20, and I see them grow within the organization and they start to connect. And then there's a level of purpose, and they build themselves into that. And I just see them, I'll use Alyssa Jordan in accounting. I hope she watches our podcast. I remember when she first started, a great example, and I'm not her direct leader, but I observe, and she's in my building, and she's one of us. She used to just read her bookworm in the kitchen for lunch. Great, like take your time. Now she's engaging. She'll pop by my office. Hey, what's going on? What's happening this weekend? Like the level of confidence, coupled with competence in terms of training and what she's done in her career and growing in her position. I love seeing that. That gives me energy when I walk by and I see Alyssa shining. I love that. And you see that with various students all the time.
And the beauty of what I have is the fact that they come back. So I have the pleasure over the course of the 18 years that the master's program has been in existence to maintain relationships with those people. I was just on a Zoom call today with one of my students from the class of 2021 or 22, left, went to New York because that's where he wanted to go. He had come out of Omaha, got a job, was successful. Now he stopped that. He's forming his own company. He's doing his thing. He wants to talk about it. He wants advice all of the time. We talked about Colby.
Shout out to Colby Smith. Hulula.
Yes. Yeah, Hulula. And, my ability to continually interface with these people and see them be successful. I mean, it's a wonderful thing as a human being to see that happen. And to know that there was some small part that you played in their ability to do what they're doing.
Yes.
I'm going to close with this question for you, John. We have the uncanny ability, with the level of talent that we have in between these four walls, or I should say 8 walls, 2 different buildings, to come up with just such great ideas. Some work, some don't, but the attempt and the constant thinking forward, right? Where do you see the opportunities in collaborating potentially from Mark Taylor and ASU, and of course, just continuing to develop our future leaders, our future generation of leaders within multifamily?
I think it's endless. I mean, we're here today for lots of great reasons. Is it, or was it as fast as I wanted it to be? No, but here we are.
Yeah.
And I think the momentum of ASU and what Mark's doing, and Mr. Crow and the university collectively, and us just having a sliver of participation would be fantastic. And I think our real world experience can really, I'll say, create a synergy with ASU and future graduates and current students. And I see a lot of opportunity there. Mark described something when you were saying that. I was thinking about, virtual reality. I was thinking of a brand new property manager walking an asset in a VR headset. Here's what an asset shouldn't look like. And you start going through, and this is what we do today. Like, you can't go through a PowerPoint and describe, hey, MCO, this is how you walk a property. This is what you look for. Yeah. No. You got to go do it with an asset manager, someone that's been doing this for quite some time, because there's so many different things you have to look
train
for
your eyes.
And understand and train your eyes. So you do that, or you do, hey, here's what a 5-star Class A asset should look like at all times, from landscaping to stucco to stem walls to roofing to what the pool clarity should be, all of those things. And if you are immersed in that, I'm confident if we did that versus how we do it today, the acceleration of learning and them getting it, right? Retaining it. Yep. That's the piece.
It's the retaining.
Retaining it. Like, oh, no, I've seen this before. You don't show pictures of how to drive a car to your 15-year-old. You got to go out there and hit some curbs. So that's what I see, all of those things fusing together with lots of excitement.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Yeah. Mark, this has been an absolute pleasure. I can't say thank you enough for blessing us with your presence, and of course, going back to inviting us over to just experience it from top to bottom, letting me be a little bit of an idiot without yelling at me too much for disturbing your students that were there trying to learn. We have a little bit of a tradition. After every single episode, we each get to mention something that we're grateful for today. Would you like to go first, or you want John to go?
I'm happy to go first because I'm grateful that I have the ability to do what I do, which allows me to meet the people I do, which includes you, in ways that make a difference in people's lives on a regular basis. It's very rewarding to me, so I'm very grateful for these opportunities.
John?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna not say what I planned in advance.
Oh,
I think we are blessed to do what we do. For many of the things Mark just said, I feel like there's an opportunity to grow in your network, connect with new people. It doesn't matter how old or young you are, but I just feel like as a constant learner, constant state of learning, that you get to connect with great individuals. And Life's about what you make it, and I'm just excited to be here with Mark and partnering with ASU and stuff like this. It matters a lot to me, and I'm excited about the future.
I'm going to say this: I'm proud to be an Arizonan.
I thought you were going to say
Chicago.
The Bears finally got a win.
Well,
that's what I thought you were going to
Yeah.
say. Congratulations,
You don't
by the
have
way.
to. Thanks for rubbing it in.
No, that's a win. That's a congratulations.
Originally from Chicago, been here since '99. This is my home. I have watched, and of course, there's so many people. We're a melting pot here, especially Phoenicians, right? To see how this city, this community, the entire MSA has been just changing for the positive. ASU being the leader, 100% agree with you. Congratulations again on 11 straight years. That's an amazing accomplishment.
Well, it's not me. That's Michael.
You got to with Dr. Crow, yes. Well,
Right?
he's
It starts with culture. It starts with a vision. It starts with somebody who inspires you to go do these things.
I just saw his photo with Will.i.am.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah, from last week, I think it was. Yeah, fantastic. His experiences and fusing that into how you teach and learn.
It has been
fascinating to see.
I just love living here and looking forward to what the Valley's going to continue to do moving forward.
Our program, in addition to how we teach, is made great because of the relationships we have with the industry. We have great faculty. By ourselves, we can't do it. We need to have these relationships. This is what will separate us from all other programs. And so I'm appreciative of the fact that we've been talking, we're going to continue to talk, and we will be partnering to deliver much better opportunities for our students and better talent for you.
Well, for all of the high school students that watch this show constantly, right? They're subscribed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, between TikTok and
Right, TikTok, and then you come right to
Forward.
Multifamily
That's
Forward. So all you high schoolers out there that are looking to choose which college you need to go to, he's right there. Go see Mark Stapp
we're
at
going to shorten
ASU.
this to 20-second clips.
Yes, 100% agree. Thank you again, Mark. This is fantastic.
I appreciate it.
Really, no, from us. Thank you very much. From Multifamily Forward, presented by Mark Taylor Consulting. Thank you again for coming to join us. Appreciate it, gentlemen.
Thank you.